Hi friends, in our first lesson we are going to talk about photos. I know that's what this whole class is about, so it's the most important thing. We are going to talk about what supplies you're going to need in order to get photos, right? And then kind of some of the struggles that you might be facing and a little bit about getting into the camera roll so that you have a better understanding of what you're working with. So first off, you need a phone or a camera, something to take your photos, right? And then you need some sort of a photo editor app on your phone. I just want you to have one that you're comfortable using so that you can edit your photos. And one of the main issues with, 24/7 access to our camera and our camera roll is that it gets overwhelming very, very fast. So we're going to start with the camera roll. It's a feature on, smartphones where we can store and access all of our photos and videos. It's your digital photo album, and it's gonna hold a lot for us. And it's got a lot of features that I really am excited to share with you that you may not know about. Now, I use an iPhone, so I'm only going to talk specifically about iPhone features. I assume that other phone types, other phone models will have very similar features. You might not be able to find them in the exact way that I'm teaching here. We're going to access the camera in order to view, edit, organize, and share photos and videos, but we're not going to go deep into how to edit or how to take photos. So just a reminder, this is not a photography class. You are not going to find like me teaching you how to take photos. This is all about once the photo is taken, what do we do with it and how do we handle it? Another advantage of the camera roll is that it organizes things without us even knowing it. So we can search by date, and we can also add keywords to our photos so that we can search for them later, which is really, really great when it comes to things being searchable if you're looking for something specific. So first, let's talk about how to create albums and add photos to them. So we're in the camera roll now. There are two ways for you to organize your photos into albums. So we all know the Recents album, which is what we were just in. It has everything that you've ever shot, right? But if we go into that albums button, look at all these albums. We are gonna make some albums so that we can have a little bit more detailed organization. So here's one way, is you're gonna hit that little plus sign and you're gonna add a new album, and you could call it whatever you want. Let's say you wanna call it April 24 photos, because we're gonna start putting our photos in here as a regular habit once we're kind of in the other habit of culling and editing our photos regularly, which we'll get to in some future lessons. So when you create that album, it's going to take you back to that Recents folder, and it's going to allow you to select some items. And I just accidentally selected a bunch of things I didn't mean to. But let's go through here. I'm going to add some things to my April album. I've got these 3 selfies here, and I've got this one of me in the rain, and let's see what else. Oops. And this cute photo, or these cute videos of Charlie. Okay, so now we're gonna hit add. We've got those things selected. We're gonna hit add, and now look, we've got an album that we created with the items that we just added. So what you can do is begin to add your edited photos into this folder. Another way that you can add to the folder is right through that main part of your camera roll, which is your Recents. So let's just pick a couple of these here. 1, 2, and this video, okay? And then from here, we're gonna click the action button, and then you'll be able to see right here, add to album. And then you get to pick from the albums that you already have established, or you can create a new one. So what we're gonna do is just add it. And all that does is duplicate those photos into that folder. So they are not moved from this recent section. They're just duplicated so that you can find them again another time. Another amazing feature that the iPhone camera roll does as far as organization is you can add keywords or captions to your photos and videos. Check this out. I'm going to tap this meme here that I screenshot. I think it's super cute. So normally what you're going to see is your basic information. You're going to see the whole entire photo. You're going to see some info on top here. Now, if you take this photo and you just hold and you drag up a little bit, it's got a lot more information down here. So it'll show you about the lens, any other information about that photo. Now, this is a screenshot, so it's not going to have detailed information about, like your f-stop and things like that you would on a regular photo. But what we're going to do is, let's say that there's a bunch of photos that you have maybe from one event and maybe a trip, right? And that trip happened across multiple days and you've got other things in between all of those photos and you're trying to look for a way to organize them all and make them searchable. In this section right here where we've got open, it says add a caption. And all we're doing here, it doesn't have to be a full sentence. It doesn't have to really be like a written out caption. You're just writing keywords. So let's say that the keyword here is spring. Let's also say that this is a meme. Now, these words don't have to be meaningful to each other, right? It doesn't mean that this is spring meme. It just means those are two keywords that we can use to search. So we're going to hit done on that one. Let's go find ourselves another photo that's similar, like another screenshot. How about this one right here? And we're going to pull up, we're going to do the same thing, but we're only going to call this one meme, okay? And we're going to hit done. So from the albums, we're going to hit search, and then we'll go up to this little search bar. We're going to type in meme and search, and look what we've got. We've got two right here. We're going to say see all, but you can see that there were two there. This one and this one. We just save those so that you know that you can just type one word that you put into that caption and you'll be able to find your photos. So if one of the things that you're looking for is a little bit of a better way to organize your photos so that you're not lost all the time, creating captions that are searchable might be something that you want to consider trying. Another thing you can do is search by date. So if you know that you took a photo, let's say on March 15th, 2024, you can just hit search and you have got 13 photos that you took on that day. So this is a super helpful tool to be able to find and organize your photos. When we're talking about albums, there's something that your apps will do that you may not be aware of. They're creating albums for you, and you may have never seen them, but they're there. So I'm going to scroll through some of these that I've already made for myself, and we're going to go down here and find Instagram has made an album for me. I get rid of these regularly, so I come in here probably once a month when I do a big camera roll clean out, and I will come in here and delete these because they are creating duplicates and taking up space on my phone. I have maybe already uploaded it and synced it to my hard drive or my online cloud storage. I don't need it sitting here on my phone anymore. So if you see that there are some albums in here that you don't necessarily need, again, these are just duplicates. Getting rid of the things within here does not remove them from your camera roll. So I'm going to hit edit, and then I'm just going to delete. I don't need it. I don't need the Lightroom duplicates or Pinterest or any of these. I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of them. And there we have it. We're a little bit cleaner now. Now I've got a lot of albums on here that I could probably get rid of now. I'm not in a cleanup mode at this point. There's still several things I need to keep on my phone for business purposes, but you might not need to keep things on your phone for very long. If you have a good backup, which we'll talk about here in a little bit, then you can feel confident getting rid of things from your phone that are just taking up space. We're going to go through this process a bit more in the next lesson, but we want to find a way to separate the photos that we want to edit And that can be what these albums are for. This April 2024 photos, it could be for every photo that you've edited and want to make sure you get printed. You could create it with that in mind. So if I rename this to April to print, then I know these are all the photos that I'm gonna want printed. And if I get into this nice rhythm of getting my photos edited every week, getting them into an album, this could be super helpful because we're going to talk about how to get all of these photos, only the ones that you want to print, into a place on your computer where then you can get them printed. Now it's your turn. I have a couple of homework assignments for you. You're going to have 3 tasks to do before we move on to the next lesson. So number 1 is create a few albums in your camera roll. If you have some photos that you would like to get organized, go ahead and get that started. Remember, there are a couple ways that you can do that. You can add an album and then add photos, or you can go straight from your camera roll and select photos and then add them to a new album. The second thing I want you to do is go through those albums and remove those unwanted albums that those apps created for you. And then number 3, I would love for you to download the Lightroom app because it, to me, is the best and easiest to work with. And it's free. The mobile version is free. But whatever app that you like, whatever app you've been comfortable with, just make sure you have an editing app loaded onto your phone that you can use.